So this is the Alien Gear Rapid Force holster. Just like last time I brought the boys out to talk, a couple guys I know run this holster. Most of my friends run Safariland. So we brought some Safarilands out here, some Alien Gears, and we're just gonna go over this. Dom, you run Alien Gear. How have you been liking it so far?
Well, it's my first level 3 holster, and I really like it. I feel like I get a consistent draw. It doesn't matter what light I have on, what optic I have on, always fits. Always can get a good consistent draw out of it.
That's
fast.
Fair. And we've both got the extended hood, and you run closed emitter dot. So
yes,
fat dot.
This is a G17 holster with a G19 in it.
Same here. So I also have the G17 holster and a G19 slammed inside of it. This is my first level 3 holster as well. I'm coming from this level 2 Safariland. This was wrapped by my buddy Spectre Mods. He did a great job on that. I'm up in Alaska now, so the camo doesn't match, but it is what it is. On that note, he wrapped his holster himself. He did a hell of a job for doing it himself.
Yeah, if you decide to wrap your Rapid Force, take some time on the hood. I didn't, and that's about some of the only visible imperfections on it. Just a 12-inch by 12-inch Cordura with 3M adhesive on the other side on Amazon for like $10.
And then something I wanted to point out, especially to the Safariland boys, in the options for this, if you want to run a light, it's just you run a light or you don't. That's the option. So I think that's pretty cool. You can run a bunch of different lights in this holster, and you don't have to buy like specific different holsters for it, which is pretty dope, because I know that for Safariland there is specific model numbers, and it gets pretty deep. I can't even keep track.
So I'm using level 3. So this one's for the X300, which I have on right now. It's the X300U. I know it runs the TLR1 and maybe a couple others. But
X300V fits in most of those without the plug.
Yeah, so another thing on Rapid Force compared to Safariland are the plugs on the bottoms. So with the Safariland, you do get one for the muzzle and one for the flashlight. Okay. So that's a nice thing about the Safarilands, is you can pop those out. Like if you have like a vampire light or something like that that runs a little longer, you can pop that out. I like to have the option to have it closed, like the Safarilands, where you just pop it out or unscrew it, take it out, and screw back in.
And Dom runs the V. Does it extend past the? If you were to have a plug,
I'd say about an 1/8 of an inch. If that, I have a TLR1 on there right now, but when I do have the V, maybe an 1/8 of an inch out
Got
of there.
it. So you actually switch your lights out and run the same holster, which is pretty dope.
Yeah.
Okay,
My
cool.
concealed
So-
holster is still only for the TLR1, so I have that on there right
So
now.
you have the X300V, the Vampire, which is extended bezel, and it sticks out past that. And you also have the TLR1 HL.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And you can swap it, no problem.
Anything. The only accessory on a Glock I've ever had issues with is a extended slider release. Do you have yours on right now, Morgan?
Yep. So I've got the Glock Gen 517 with the Cogworks extended slide release. It's on both sides since it's ambi. I don't have issues with it in Safariland, but
So the hood, it's not as snappy, a little bit more of a deliberate press the whole way down. And it just,
feels like it's binding.
it's doable, but it definitely gets in the way of the snappiness of the hood. As you can see here, it just flies forward.
I understand that they had issues with extended iron sights when they first came out with this holster.
Which
so
is
I've got
that?
suppressor heights.
But they fixed that as soon as they realized that they had an issue. Bringing up stuff like this is important so that they can have a chance to fix the problem.
Hey Aaron, we've
This is
found a
great.
new issue out mid-video. Look at that with my SRO. That doesn't lock in.
So he's been having issues with Safariland and Rapid Force.
So real quick, I've got a Glock 17 Gen 4 Jaegerworks slide, RMR cut. I've got an SRO on there with just the normal Trijicon suppressor height irons. No extended mag release or anything like that. And then the first issue that I ran into with my holsters was the issue that Aaron is trying to show you right now, where the gun is having to get pushed out of battery. It's not grabbing on with that locking system like it does. And I first ran it into that with this 6390. So gun is clear. Where it it'll lock in now, but say I take this and I
like-
put it in Morgan's, just focused on that locking system. This isn't going to lock in at all, and
Same
that's
situation going on the battery.
that's because of the window and the frame of how the SRO is built. Is it just sticks out so far forward?
Try my holster real quick.
Yeah.
Just for.
But
Just
what
for
I
fun.
had to do was I just pulled up a YouTube guide. I also watched one from your friend. I think it was what was it, 300 Blackout.
Yeah. he's the
Um,
man.
yeah, same issue with another rapid force that's not actually locking in.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So beware SROs.
All right.
So
SRO doesn't fit. The Cogworks extended slide release doesn't fit.
someone might think, oh, you're weakening the structure of your locking system. What's retaining your gun? You're not supposed to do that.
He picked you up.
Morgan was picking me up.
It's fine.
That footage will make it in there somewhere.
Just be
so-
careful when you do the Dremel work. That's all.
Exactly. Don't over Dremel. You can line it up.
On
with
that note,
your
I dremeled this for the SRO as well, and took a heat gun to the little shield bezel right here, and it was fine at first. I really ran this holster, tons and tons of draws, and tons of me slamming the gun back into this holster. After time, I can easily get this to fail now. It's not good. I did modify it myself, so I'm most likely at fault for that, but the holster does fail. It is what it is.
I think that's a little bit of a nod for the Safariland, in my opinion. I have a FN 509 with a comp on it. It's not supposed to go in here. I had to disassemble. I don't have a plug in the end of mine for the light or the muzzle. I had to heat this up, get it to accept the comp 509, and it locks in like it's supposed to. It does try to catch on the baffle and the comp, and took it all apart and did a little bit of dremeling, and now it fits. It's not typical, but it works. If this isn't typical for the alien gear, I wonder how much modification one could do to make it work.
That's something to be said about the Safariland, is it is a folded over piece of Kydex, easily modifiable. That's something that I am really a fan of the alien gear, is it feels really mechanical. It feels like your gun is either locked or it's unlocked, and there's no in between. And that's something that I have noticed with a few different Safarilands, is that sometimes you can kind of cheat the holster. Depending on the holster, sometimes you can kind of rip the gun out of the holster without fully engaging your nub.
So one thing that's very noticeable with alien gear is that the top hood here and then the optic cover are slaved together, so if I press a button down, they go at the same time, compared to Safariland where you have to come up and then push forward on the hood and then hit that nub back. So I mean, it really depends on whatever way you practice, but if you're really trying to get the gun out as fast as possible, I do see the benefit of having the slaved hood and optic cover. The only thing I think the alien gear is missing is a garment guard, which I really like when we start getting into the colder month with the bigger jackets and
That's a great
stuff like
point.
that there.
I do know that there's a ton of things that you can do with this holster that you have to purchase things for the Safariland, canting the holster more than the little bit that you can cant on the fork. All you got to do is loosen it, turn it to where you want it. It's ready to rock as soon as you buy it, if your gun's available.
So I'm not a Glock guy. I've never picked up a Glock that I liked. I know they make one for the Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0 in 9mm. I've got one of those. I went looking on their page to see if I could get one for that pistol. They don't make it in left-handed. I run a 509. I love this thing. This thing's treated me really well. I would love to see one for a 509. I assume once there's demand for it, they'll consider something like that. But
I will say, like, shopping online for Safariland is a headache.
yes.
It is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Safariland, your website sucks. Like,
Sorry.
We're
like
not the
I had
first
to have a
to
buddy
say it.
who already bought a Safariland buy mine and then I had to wait, the lead time.
And then
for
I
it.
had to come to you to help me.
Most people I know who own Safariland bought it secondhand or from some
Someone
other
who-
retailer.
Yeah,
I got this off of OP Tactical.
yeah.
OP Tactical, your guys' website is what's up, actually.
And then even as well, I was trying to buy a 6360 like Morgan, and I accidentally bought the 6390 because
It's
I thought
within
that's what the level 3 was.
Numbers.
It's within numbers.
Number
And that's what I
spacing.
was saying is that, man, when you go to Alien Gear's website and you want the holster, you plug in your model and you say, yes, I want a light, or no, I don't want a light. Full disclosure, this holster was just sent to me by Alien Gear. As soon as I got the numbers for this holster, in about a week it went out. So I'd say expect a week or so. What
That's
is your
regular
take?
shipping time for us.
I want to say after I placed my order, probably a little over a week.
And Safariland's putting a 4-week last time I checked.
I had to wait
And do they
3
fulfill
months for my holster.
They fulfill it.
Okay, yeah, nothing against Safariland.
No,
I just
it's a great company.
I do understand that they have a pretty long lead time, and most people who end up with a Safariland bought it from a buddy or some other retailer.
Yeah, I bought mine straight from Safariland, and I had a 3-month wait time. So
Same, yeah. One big noticeable thing that pops out to me is this is like a legit optic cover. The ones on the Safariland kind of lackluster. I mean, you can pop them off like that. They're kind of flimsy plastic. They can flop around and become a shovel in the snow if it's not down all the way.
So originally they had a cover that looked a lot like that, but because of the acro and the demand for the acro, I believe that's why they created
it
the
out a little more.
extended. Yeah. So now they have both options. If you want something a little tighter to like your RMR, you can get the smaller hood, but
not
Uh,
your SRO.
this is what they sent me, and it works out because I'd like to go with the MPS.
Like the last thing I noticed, like right off the bat, just looking at them, the hardware on the back. So on the outside, if you push down, everything moves, right? Compared to Safariland, where it's everything that moves on the holster is pretty much on the inside for that last bit of retention.
So is that scalable to level 2? Okay,
Yeah,
so this is also scalable to level 2. So I see the benefit in that 100%. Buying a level 3 duty holster that you can scale down to level 2 if you want.
I don't know what you do.
Because man, so a couple weekends ago we were out helping with some search and rescue, and on the search we were pushing through some heavy brush. And I'd say if we had like a basic Kydex holster with no retention, I'd say our guns could have easily gotten ripped out just by any of the small brush that we were pushing through.
Tundra brush up here is.
I ran
It's
a
tight. It's tight. You can't see 10 feet in front of you sometimes just from the brush. So
T-Rex Arms Ragnarok for a little bit, and I would lose stuff out of it left and right.
yeah, and up here in Alaska, we really appreciate our optics being covered if they can be, because I have pictures and videos. Maybe I'll clip some in of my optics filled with snow, filled with rain.
I am kind of crushed that the SRO actually doesn't fit, but maybe they'll come out with an option to fit an SRO in the future. Hopefully you guys do.
It hangs off of the hip a little bit further than a Safariland does with the forks, but Alien Gear does sell an adapter for, I believe, for the QLS fork. We're on the range swapping holsters sometimes just for stuff and things, so it's nice to be able to interlock each other's holsters. Dom and I can do that. We have a couple other buddies who run the Rapid Force, but we have to convert some more.
It's definitely like preference. So
It does feel plasticky as well, but the action of the holster feels really nice. It makes up for how plasticky it looks and feels, in my opinion. We had Drake put on my belt and just draw from my holster a few times, and he just seemed natural.
I was actually really surprised that it was just up and out, just almost like my ALS holster. It was
Yeah, and-
almost the same thing.
And your holster is fine. There's no need to replace it, but if you're just running a regular Kydex holster and you're shopping around, maybe consider something like the Rapid Force because of how easily you can shop for it. If not, try to find a Safariland. Safariland's great. One thing I did want to mention is
Sign me up.
Emissary Development made this. The paddle shifter fits great in the Alien Gear. It doesn't get hung up at all, and the paddle shifter is a pretty big extended arm up there, and so I was a little concerned, but nothing to be worried about. It fits great. The QD system on the holster is so really solid. And it's really nice to see an option that lives up to something like Safariland. They sent this out to me and I'm loving it. I just because they sent it to me doesn't mean I have to love it, but I'm really enjoying my time with it. I'm really natural out of it. I have huge hands, so I can easily actuate all of the levers. Not sure you have pretty small hands,
I have
but
baby hands.
but you have not too many problems getting your gun out.
Let me see.
And we were all running Safarilands, everything. We didn't know the first thing about alien gear, and we told Dom to get his Rapid Force.
He's gonna
as
be
a
our lab
joke,
rat.
like as a, and I was totally against it. I was like, let's just tell him to get a good holster, get a Safariland. He got it. He's loved it, and it's just exploded from there. So.
Yeah. I think what's really nice about this is when I first got this, I had a bare bones Glock 19, nothing special. I didn't know what optic I wanted. Got the XL hood, got the light bearing. I put whatever I want on this. I built this gun up inside this holster, and it's been with me the whole way. Nothing's changed.
Yeah, and see, for me, this is my first level 3 holster, so I'm just having a really good time learning it as a system itself. And I would probably be having the same exact time if I bought a new holster from Safariland. I'm just really enjoying this, and I'm glad that there's another option that people can go after. This is the Rapid Force Duty Holster by Alien Gear. So, if you like stuff like this, comment your thoughts, subscribe to the channel. We're going to have a ton more. I'm part of Alien Gear's community team. If you decide to shop with them, please use my link. It's going to help the YouTube channel grow. That's really all.
That's it.